Hello everybody, this is the BLD. This is going to be a video of me showing you what memory method, and what algs I use for solving a 3x3 blindfolded. First off, I'll say that I use Old Pochmann. Basically how I learned this is I went to the Old Pochmann website, Stephen Pochmann's website, and basically I looked at that for 5 minutes, got the idea, and then figured out the rest on my own. I'm going to show you guys how I do edges and corners with Old Pochmann. Okay, how I solve blind. I do edges first and then corners. So you can do it either way, but I just like doing edges first. I find it just easier and to do it that way. Don't argue with me because you can do it either way. So I'm gonna show you what I memorize when I'm memorizing edges. I memorize letter pairs, or just letters. So this sticker is A. I'm labeling stickers, not edges. In Old Pochmann you combine orientation and permutation in the same step, so you're solving stickers, not pieces. Because when you're solving pieces, a piece could be flipped, but when you're solving stickers, the piece will be correctly oriented. So A is my buffer piece, right here. This is my buffer area for solving edges, these 3 pieces. Because you can't only swap 2 edges, you have to swap 2 corners. It's not possible to only swap 2 edges. So these 2 corners will be swapping over and over again while I'm swapping edges. So parity is when it's an odd numbered swap and then they end up in different places than how the cube started out when you started memorizing. That's called parity. So A is my buffer. And then this is B. So during my edge memorization, I never have an A or B in my lettering. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, and then Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X. So that's my lettering system for edges. Now before I scramble this, I'm going to show you my lettering system for corners. I use the letters, no numbers, so it is possible that you can confuse your edge memo and your corner memo. So I memorize the letters with the letter next to it, so letter pairs, and then I memorize it with taps. I know this edge goes here, and this edge goes here, this edge goes here, etc. So I tap as I'm memorizing. My corner buffer is this sticker, and then these 2 edges will swap while I'm doing corners. So this is my corner lettering, A, B, C. So you start with the corner and then you go clockwise around that corner. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X. So that's my lettering system for edges and corners. So now I'm going to scramble cube and basically do a walkthrough blindfold solve. Okay, so to start off, I always hold the cube with white on top, green in front, WCA style. That's just how I hold it. It doesn't matter how you hold it, but you want to hold it the same way so you can recognize pieces faster. First, after orienting the cube correctly, which it should already be oriented correctly, I look for inactive edges. These are edges that won't be moving around, so these edges are already permuted. Here I see that this edge is in its correct place, and it's flipped correctly. And I see that this edge is in its correct place, but it's flipped incorrectly. So that means I'm going to flip this. I'm going to need to flip this edge when I'm done solving edges. So because I'm flipping this piece, that means I will also be flipping my buffer piece at the end. And then I look around the cube and notice that these two are the only inactive edges. So I make a mental note to flip this edge and my buffer at the end of the edge cycle. I look at the sticker that's in my buffer. This sticker goes to X. So I memorize X. And then the sticker that's in X needs to go to L. So I remember XL. And when I have a letter pair, I try to find something that I'm reminded of when I say my letter pair. So XL, I think of extra large. So extra large. So XL. I don't say the word extra large, I just think of it in my mind and it helps me remember. I also tap the spots where they go. Extra large. XL. And then the piece that is in L, the sticker that is in L, goes to J. So I remember XL, J, O, because the sticker that's in J goes to O. So XL, J, O. And then J, O, I think I'll just remember that. So XL, J, O, and then this is my buffer. So when I reach my buffer, I just go to a different spot. I just start with another spot. So I have XL, J, O, and then I'll go to T. T is the place I start when I've run into my buffer, unless T is solved, and then I go to I or U. So J, O, no, XL, J, O, T, G, T, G. And then G goes to D, so XL, J, O, T, G, D, R. DR, so I can think of like a doctor, DR. So XL, J, O, T, G, D, R, V, T. And that ends back to the spot which I went to before. So XL, J, O, T, G, D, R, V, T. So that's my edge cycle, and then I remember that this edge needs to be flipped as with my buffer. So these two edges will be flipped. So I'll make a mental note of that. So I'll say my edge cycle, then tap these two pieces to remember to flip them, and then I have no parity because I had a certain number of pairs of letters. So if you have one letter standing on its own without a pair to it, that means you have parity. And I'll show you how I solve parity. So I'll go ahead and solve the edges visually. So I remember X. So I want to take the sticker that's in X and put it either here, here, or here. If I set it here, I can do a T-perm. If I set it here, I can do a J. If I set it here, I can do an L. Since X is here, I can do an M2, set it up for a J-perm. Now that piece is solved, undo the setup move. Now I have L, so I do a set it up for a T-perm, do a T-perm. XL, J. So for J, J is my most complicated setup move. I do R2, D, M prime, J perm, and then O. So O is just that, and then T perm. And then we have the buffer solved, or is in its place, so then I go to T, and then T goes to G, This goes to D. And then this goes to R, so just do an M prime, J perm. This goes to V, so I do an M, and then a J perm. And then this sticker goes to T, so I do J perm. And you might have noticed that there are no L perms in that. The only time when I use an L perm is for E, W, E, W, and S most of the time. E, W, and S is the only time I use an L perm. Set it up for an L perm. And then I have two flipped edges, so I can flip them. And then I know that that algorithm I just did swap these three edges, so I undo that, put it back, and then I have to put it back to where it was and undo the set it move. So there I flip my edges. Now how I solve parity. If I had parity, I would do T perm, then a U2, then a counterclockwise U perm, and then do another U2. And that would just swap these two edges. Now for corners, this is my buffer. And this sticker goes to D, so I remember D. And then this sticker goes here, so I remember DT. DT. The sticker in T goes back to the buffer. So then I restart, and when I start a new thread, a new cycle, I start with J or G or D, depending. So I got DT and then J, JW. So DT, JW, W goes to O, and O goes to P. So D, DT, JW, OP, and P goes to H, and then I remember HJ. So DT, JW, OP, HJ, and that's my corner cycle. And I look and I make sure that there's no rotated corners. If there were rotated corners at the end, I would just do the sexy move, flip to, or like soon and then U-perm, whichever. So that's how I memorize my corners, and then so I remember D. Now my setup move for D is kind of complicated since I'm putting it here, so I can set it up for a Y-perm. So it's R2, D, R2. Then I do a Y-perm, and R2, D prime, R2. And then I have T. My setup move for T is D2, then Y-perm. Then I'm going to start with J. J's already set up, so it doesn't need any setup moves. And then I have W, so JW, and then O. This sticker goes to O, so I have D, F prime, and then I do Y perm, and then P. So P is D, R2, Y perm, and then H goes to H. H is F2R, and then Y perm, and then I remember J, so then I do J, and then I check my memory, make sure there's no rotated corners, and then I'm done. So that was how I solve blindfold. I do edges and corners. I just memorize letters, no numbers or anything. If I ever get into big blind, like 4x4 blind, 5x5 blind, or multi-blind, I'm going to have to get a better memory method, memorizing words, turning all the letter pairs into words, and then with the words, like making a story, do journeys, if I'm going to do big blind or multi-blind. So, I showed you how I do that. I just use T-perm, J-perm, L-perm, and Y-perm with assorted setup moves. And so there you go. I hope you understood that. This video could function as a tutorial if you already have enough cubing knowledge of setup moves, and if you know T-perm, J-perm, L-perm, and Y-perm. And so there you go. That's how I solve the 3x3 blindfolded.